Welcome to the Floor Academy podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Hadeen, owner of Illustrious Hardwoods in Mesa, Arizona. With me this week is I can't even remember a title. I just read it a second ago. Paul Treanor is where'd it go? It's in my notes. The senior manager of content and community with Informa Markets. They are the current owners of the International Surface event, which is coming to Las Vegas January 31st through February 2nd. And we'll get you guys an extra one. If you use my name, Kyle, Kyle, if you're watching the video, it's right there. You can't miss it. You can put that in as the promo code. You'll get a free exhibits pass. So what are we going to be talking about? Well, from my perspective, my understanding is that a lot of people still think surfaces or the International Surface Event or TICE, whatever you would like to call it, it goes by all of them, is for retailers. And it's not for retailers anymore, folks. Like, I've been going for a couple of years. I have a blast. There are tons of installers showing up. There are more every year. They are gearing content towards installers and not just retailers. And honestly, even if it was just for retailers, I'll tell you what, as an installer that likes to know what's going on in the flooring industry, I want to go look at those products so I know what's going to get sold. And if I was a subcontractor, I would be going to my retailer and saying, you should look at this product, this product, this product, and you should ignore these products because they're garbage. They're just hot garbage and you shouldn't touch them. And then, you might be able to influence what you're going to see over the next year. So I think that would be, for me, that's a great reason to go. I like seeing what's new. I like seeing what's going on. I also like seeing all the fun tools, all of my friends from across the country. So we're going to get into that in just a minute, and we're going to go over the show, kind of give you a preview of what's going to be happening in 2023 coming up here in a little over a month. But first, before we get started, for over 65 years, Laticrete has been a leading manufacturer of products and systems covering tile and stone installation, masonry veneer installation, resinous and decorative floor finishes, concrete construction chemicals, and concrete restoration. They offer an array of low VOC and sustainable products. Their products contribute to LEED certification, exceed commercial and residential VOC building requirements, and are backed by the most comprehensive warranties in the industry. For more information on Laticrete and the products they offer, visit laticrete.com. Paul, welcome back to the show. Thank you for visiting us before and telling us about your side hustle, your what you like to do as a hobby in Pilates. But now let's talk about what pays the bills, buddy.
The real job.
Yeah, what's the real deal?
Well, thank you again, Kyle. Love being on this show. My name is not Bob Baldocchi. My name is Paul Treanor.
Okay, so, I got you. You keep talking.
I don't mind. You can call me anything you want. It's totally cool. I'll answer to most things. It's exciting. We've got an exciting show coming up for you in January 30th through February 2nd. 30th I count as part of the show because that's when our programming on the stages in the breakout rooms begin. And then the show days are the 31st through the 2nd. Show team has been working on this since literally even before TICE 2022 ended. And so we've got exciting things planned, enhancing expo floor, enhancing the educational program, trying to pull in more fun things to do constantly and deliver more value to our entire group of stakeholders.
Awesome. And I know it never ends for you. I stay in contact with you throughout the year. And yes, you are right in that you are constantly planning next year's show. However, I know it was a huge bonus for you not to have to plan a show in 6 months this time.
That's a very nice thing. I don't care to ever have to revisit that. Literally going from a virtual event in 2021 to the shortened version of TICE in the summer, that was fun. The planning time was limited. I'll say that probably it was draining and it took a lot of work, but that event really kind of was fun. It is totally unique. How many times do you actually get to go down the lazy river at Mandalay Bay in the heat of summer? It's not even normally open when we're having TICE in January.
Yes. So we are headed into the show. It's about, January starts show season with all the other events going on, but you guys kind of lead the way. And we're going to get a little preview of the show. So attendance, sadly, has been down. COVID came in and just destroyed all shows for everybody and really any momentum they had going. But I do believe you have some awesome news for us in what attendance and vendor outlook is.
Absolutely. The attendees registration opened, looking like about 6 weeks ago or so. Attendee registration launched soft, and then we went out with all our large announcements. And since then, our attendee tracking has been on par with the TICE 2022 event and is just picking up steam. We are a few weeks ahead of when we launch registration for the TICE 2022 event. So that is obviously helping us out to give people more time to start shopping, thinking about what they want to do at TICE, and figure out all the activities that they want to partake. We've done some enhancements in the entire programming that will give the attendees a lot more capabilities and be more thoughtful in how they're going to spend their time with us at TICE. So the attendee side of things are rolling out very, very well and is going strong. And in addition to that, we've also got our exhibitor show floor is about 97% sold on target for our account executives and sales team. So that is projected that we'll probably meet at least our TICE goals coming up probably by end of this year, and then we'll probably go into kind of stretch goals from that point on. So it's a robust floor, 400 plus exhibitors or brands, as we like to call them, that are going to be on the show floor. And it's going to be ranging from the surfaces show, which is that floor covering side of things, carpets, hardwood, the adhesives and installation products, rugs, resilient floor covering, rigid core, all those types of products. And then as well with Stone Expo with the natural stone and the ancillary products and machinery, and Tile Expo with porcelain, ceramic, tile, glass tile, and even quartz and manufactured products.
Awesome. So how... 2021 was scaled down a little bit still, just because I know that, COVID was still playing in effect. So how much bigger is the show this year compared to last year if you're at 97% occupancy? It's like twice the size, right? Because you were pretty scaled down last year.
From 2021?
Yes, from last year.
When we were in that June funky year?
No. Yeah. Wait, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So you got 2021 in June, and then we had January 2022.
See, I can't even keep them straight. I've lost a year, right? I think everybody has. Okay, so how much bigger are 2022? This past January, we were still scaled down. I know, just based on what I saw in 2019 before COVID hit, the show was huge, right? And then 2020, it was super scaled down, and then 2021, you guys got a little bit bigger. Or no, we missed whatever. Can't even do it. I can't. It's impossible
okay.
for it. How much bigger are we than this past year?
Programs the content and the stages, what the sales floor looks like, and I'm probably the worst person on the entire team to ask that question.
Well, if we're at 97% occupancy, I want to say it was maybe 2/3 normal size in January.
Yeah, this time. So the entire Mandalay Bay Convention Center goes like in a flipped L. It has like a short side and then really long.
Mm-hmm.
And 2022 was a little bit truncated towards the end of that long L. This time we are going the entire L. It's the entire Mandalay Bay Convention Center's A through F, if memory serves me right on the hall numbers. Wow. So that entire convention center floor is being maximized.
It's big, folks. I mean, you walk that whole L, and I swear you've walked a mile. It may not be a mile, but it darn well feels like it by the time you've done it. And you will, if you're worried about getting your steps in, you'll get your steps for the day for sure.
Wear comfortable shoes.
Yes. Don't wear shoes like Paul. Paul looks great, but don't wear shoes like Paul. You'll know him when you see him because he's the only guy with the best looking shoes there. I promise. So what are we looking at as far as attendance is looking up? Vendors are looking up. Is there any other stats that we need to know about?
Yeah, there's a big one, and it's going to be a bit even bigger draw for 2023 because in the past, if you've been to some of our previous Surfaces Tile shows, you'll remember Design and Construction Week Las Vegas when the International Builder Show, IBS, and KIBIS, the Kitchen and Bath Industry Show, and TICE were all at the same time in the same city. That's happening again, but bonus on top of this. So over the exact same dates in Las Vegas, there will be TICE, which is us, IBS, the International Builder Show, KIBIS, the Kitchen and Bath Industry Show, the Las Vegas Winter Design Market, and the Hardware Show. So
wow.
We are also cross-badging across all of those. All those groups are playing in the same sandbox. So attendees that are going to the International Builder Show, which is home building, like construction, will be able to come to TICE. TICE can go there. Same thing on KIBIS, same thing on the design market, and I think hardware too. So there's a lot of activity. There's a lot of things going on, and it also means that TICE will benefit from having those other shows, and attendees that overlap into those communities might also have a chance to go over there and see other products and enhancements to their product categories, stores, fabrication shops, installation houses, things like that.
Okay, well that free exhibits pass using my name, Kyle, to use that promo code just got a lot more valuable if you can go to 5 different. It's free to go to 5 shows, folks. Five. Crazy.
And there's more.
Is there? You tell me.
No, there's 5 shows. I think between those 3 shows, which are KIBIS, IBS, and Hardware, are all at the Las Vegas Convention Center. One of them might be at the Sands, the Design Mart, and us at Mandalay Bay. Like this is going to be a citywide. This is going to be a huge one, which also means go get your hotel rooms now.
I believe it. Yes. Awesome. All right. That's exciting to know that there's so much going on. So, a lot of us expect to see certain vendors there, right? We're going to expect to see all the major carpet manufacturers, all the major LVP manufacturers, pretty much it has traditionally been a retailer show. So there's certain people that we expect to be there. They're going to be there, folks. They're not letting their booth go. So you're going to have your Armstrong and not Armstrong. Sorry. Nope. You're going to have your Mohawk and your Shaw and your Mannington, and I'm sure Schluter and Ladecrete are going to be there. And the big players, they have their booths. They're probably locked in. They're ready to go. Who's new? Who's coming that we don't know that we might want to find out about?
So on some of the big enhancements for Surfaces, Cover Connect is going to be participating. They are going to be part of TICE. And if you're familiar with Cover Connect, I believe it is affiliated with Cover Magazine, and it's area rugs, specialty area rugs. So there will be a specialty area rug section on the show floor that is being powered by Cover Connect. In Stone Expo, we have partnered with I want to make sure I get this said correctly. It is the International Stone Organizations from prospective companies. So Turkey, Brazil, Greece, Italy, Portugal, they all have kind of like our own NSI. They have organizations which represent the quarries and the distributors and the fabricators in those countries. And we have partnered with those 5 specific stone organizers in each of those international locations. And they are going to be bringing delegations to TICE, specifically the Stone Expo floor. So there will be Stone companies from Portugal, Italy, Turkey, Greece, and there was one more that I mentioned and just fell off the top of my head. So rewind back and you can figure out who the five were. And then we are working with our partners at ISFA, the Surface Fabricators Association, and trying to attract quartz companies into Tile Expo. Not going so easy because quite a few of them are already at Kibis, and it's hard for any manufacturer to be in two places at once. So we are laying the groundwork for that as well.
Okay.
We have some new companies that are coming into the event. Quite a few new companies, and they cross some of the ones that probably would be interesting for your listeners in installation or just people who love tech. We have Extend AI, which is it's for the natural stone industry, but it does slab inspection and nesting using artificial intelligence.
Okay.
There is a company out there called Terratico. It's personally kind of the one of the companies that's kind of amazing for me and someone I'm excited to see. They make terrazzo floors, and of course, to make a terrazzo floor, there's natural stone, and then there's plastics and other things that make that quartz composite surface. But instead of going out and using and purchasing, getting plastics, they're collecting ocean plastics, and then they take those ocean plastics and use that for their manufacturing process. So there's a really nice sustainability aspect to Terratico,
Okay.
as well as some really great designs coming from their products. I think they may have been around in the past, but I don't think they've been exhibiting at the show for a while. But distribution company Gallagher is coming to TICE 2023. I think they're new, but they may very well have been around a long time ago. There's a company called Quarries Direct International. They're doing really unique stone slabs and tiles, as well as ceramic and porcelain tiles with really incredible patterns and textures that will really attract attention to our ceramic tile friends and people that go to Tile Expo. Rebel Carpets and Rugs is on our radar. They're producing very graphic and textured carpets. I want to give a little bit of a highlight to a new company that's out there, very interior designer, architect oriented, kind of the stuff that designers dream of, really crazy patterns, really great color systems. And then a company called Tomiko Knee Pads, and every installer's biggest source of pain. So they have a new knee pad that is infused and has gel technology. So I would expect that that would probably be a pretty nice benefit for any of your listeners to go and shop while at the show floor.
Okay.
So those are just some of the ones that I pulled out that kind of caught my eye. Of course, there's new products that are coming from the big guys, the Mohawks, the Shaws, the Latacretes, those companies we love and adore, plus the new companies that are coming in. I think there's a lot to see, and definitely more than ever, bigger booths, more products, and new exhibitors coming in constantly.
No, there's going to be no shortage. If you're telling me the show's that big and you're 97% booked at this point, there is going to be no shortage of people to see. And so I can tell you that I'm excited to go see what Gallagher offers. They are local to my area. They're mostly West Coast based. And so I'll be excited to go see their products. But if you are not West Coast based, they're making moves. I'm not going to lie. Like I constantly see articles about they've acquired this person from some bigger company. They've acquired this person. Like they are buying up talent and businesses left and right. I know they're expanding all over. So I would go and look at their offerings, and as the installer / small retailer that I am, I've always been very pleased with their products, and they've always delivered great service to me from, whether it's the warehouse staff, the office staff. I've had a couple of things where I had to do claims. They took care of them. So, I mean, shout out to them. Like, they're running a great business model over there, and I hope it sticks as they continue to grow. But Yeah, if you haven't heard of them, I'd go check out their stuff and find out when they're getting to you. I've had really good luck being able to sell it. So that's cool to hear that they're going to be there. Always excited about the technology stuff. I think it's interesting how many technology companies are getting involved in this space. It seems that it was pretty lacking for many years, right? And it was like, well, you got to have a website, but just have a website. And within the past couple of years, I've seen just the amount of tech come in of, you know, you can get the flooring visualizers, and you got to get that CRM, and you have to have your estimating software, and you need your website and your Google people. But now we're getting these companies that are combining it all together into packages and like, look, we'll just be your one-stop shop. We can handle all of this. And there's multiple options out there. Don't get confused that, you know, there's just one big option. There's a lot. And so I think what might be a good talk for us is, do you have a like, I know you don't get to experience the show, but I know you've talked to enough people that have experienced the show. Have you heard of a good method of how to even make your way through it? And then I'll have you do yours, and then I'll say what I've developed for me.
Yeah, so best practices on going to a large trade show?
Yeah.
Yeah. Number one, get into that exhibitor listings probably 3 weeks out. It's constantly being amended, and it's kind of constantly evolving. But I would say 3 weeks out, pull together that exhibitor list, go onto Tice's website. You can get the exhibitors. You can search by keywords. You can search by, I don't think you can search by product category off the top of my head.
Don't think so. Name. If you know the name of the company you want to find, it'll show up.
Yeah, that's great. But I would run through the list, find the companies out there that speak to your segment in the industry, and look for the companies that you want to visit. Maybe you already have a account with, or companies that you want to maybe consider having an account with, and then also making a third tier, which would be new companies that you've never heard of and want to see what they're doing. So that way you can make sure time gets crazy. And the boothmanship at Tice is out of this world. They do everything in their power to attract your attention, get you in, and keep you there. It's a little bit like the casinos in Las Vegas. Food and beverage, they are there to rope you in and get you shopping. So it's very easy to get distracted. So I think the first thing, setting up that list of who you must see, who you would like to see, and then the new companies, which you also pretty much want to leave your time for. And just give yourself that hit list of who you're going to get first. Once you have that list, then you kind of want to start looking on the expo floor and try to keep yourself from going. Remember that great big L? You don't want to just sit there and keep going like this, because your legs will be falling off within the first half day. So start on one end and then work your way all the way over and down, or go up and all the way over. Either which way, whatever works for the individual, that's the way I would personally do it. I would probably give myself at least 2 days. There's 3 total on the expo floor, and we also have other enhancements in the entire show with expo floor education and installation competition. There's all sorts of things to keep you going and keep you moving and keep you in one place. And
yes,
time is going to go quickly. So that would be the way I would program and find my strategy for the expo floor, leaving yourself time in there, of course, to, if there is something on the expo floor in the educational program or in Pulse seminars, which we'll talk about shortly, you leave time for that as well, because all those things are also going to take time to go to and then get back from. So everything's a walk. Everything takes about an extra 15-20 minutes to navigate through the expo floor down into the other areas.
Yes, it'll take you a good 15 minutes to get from one side of the show to the other. And so I can tell you from experience, and so can Paul, you don't want to be walking back and forth all day. It sucks. It happens though, especially, and I've been fortunate enough. You guys have let me come and speak, and you have me on one side of the show and I get to give a talk, and then I'm booked on the other side of the show and I got to get over there in 15 minutes so that I can get set up and do the next thing. And then I'm like, well, I want to go talk to this vendor and this vendor, 'cause now I have downtime, except you want to get there, but then all your friends stop you in the meantime and they're, hey, how's it going? Oh man, that's that. Time is very valuable there. And I'm not saying you shouldn't hang out with your friends. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, enjoy some of the educational talks, but you need to go with an agenda. You need to have a serious plan of what you want to accomplish. If you just go to the show and walk around and see people, it's going to go by really quick and you're not going to accomplish anything. And so I think some of the best advice I'd ever heard for what to do is, if you just show up to a booth and you're interested in a vendor or the product they have, they're going to give you their agenda. They're there to sell. And you're going to get sucked into their pitch and you're not going to be able to work through it very quickly. And so the advice was, you need to ask them, what are your goals for your business? And you need to ask them how they fit your goals. How are you going to get me where I want to go with my business, right? Because that's more important. I'm not worried about them and their goals. Like, that's important to them and where they want to take their company. That's great. I'm worried about what I need to do with my company and where I want to take it. And now, how do I fit your product into me achieving these things I've set out for 2023? And that'll help you move through these vendors a little bit quicker, because you might get in somewhere and if they can't even talk with you and explain the benefits or how they can help you get where you want to go, I'm out of there. I don't have time for this. I got 20 other people I need to go see. And honestly, with some of these vendors, like if you're looking at the product, the material vendors, you have like 20 other options. So if the first guy can't make it happen, you can move to the next booth and maybe they can make it happen. And then I would look at, where do I want to be, right? Can I hit this section this day, and then I hit this part of the L the next day, and then I'm down over here the next day. And maybe I want to run around and see a talk or something. I got to go to the other side of the show, but then I can come back. I think if you try and focus in on like little sections and you make sure that it's meeting your agenda and not theirs, you're going to be a lot more successful at the show. The last thing, I agree with Paul, come up with a list. And I would pre-make my list. Like he said, go on the website, look at who's going to be there. You can search and find them. When you get there, you can get a big old map. And then you can start, you can look at your list, because if you start trying to read through alphabetically, it's going to be a lot harder. Look at the list, just find the name you need, look at the booth location, circle it on their map, and draw yourself a little map to weave through so that you can make your distance, like your path, as efficient as possible. Because I've done the whole, I want to talk to this manufacturer. And then I'm like, oh, well, I'm interested in like this tool company. And so then I'll walk out of the manufacturers all the way down to the tools. And then I'm over by the tools and I'm like, oh, the installation competition isn't that far. Let me go see what the installers are up to and go see those guys. And so then now I've walked the whole show. But then I'm like, oh yeah, I got to go talk to that manufacturer. That's on the other side of the building. So then I'm all the way back over at the opposite side of the building. And who knows how many times I've been stopped in between. You got to be organized, be efficient.
But that's also where I was going to take it to that next point. If you are doing that constant weaving back and forth through the show and just moving, that's not a bad thing, because everyone knows one very valuable thing that usually comes from every trade show experience is that serendipitous moment that you just happen to cross the right person at the right time. Mm-hmm. And that person could be at any one of those movements as you're zigzagging through the show. So
I agree. You got to be efficient. You got to have fun too. And so there's a balance, but it's big. You can get lost. You can get tired very quickly. You got to go in with some kind of plan, folks. I think that's the biggest takeaway, is like, you need to find what works for you, but I would have some key people that you want to make sure that you go and meet with. And after that, you can toss it up. Usually what I like to do is, if I can get what I want accomplished the first 2 days, the third day of the show is a little bit slower paced. A lot of people have come and seen what they want to see. So if you want like actual good time with a rep at a manufacturer, the third day is actually a really good day because a lot of people, a lot of the majors have taken off out of there and they've seen it, they've experienced it. You can get some good FaceTime. Otherwise, if you're in there the first day and you're trying to get in with a major manufacturer and you want to have a 20-minute conversation, they got 5 minutes for you because there's 10 people behind you and they're going to, it's not the time to stop by and see your favorite rep. That's day 3.
And we see it more and more coming from even especially the biggest of the exhibitors, but even down now, even into the mid-size, is setting the appointments. Get your appointment set. And like you just said, Kyle, book it on your third day. There will be a lot more time that can be afforded to having a very thorough conversation about how you want to merchandise or set your floors or find new services and activate. That first day, crazy. Second day is even turning in a little crazier now than the first day. So if you can, get an appointment.
And then the pro tip here, if you're close and you can drive, it is worth hanging out until the end of day 3. Those tool manufacturers are going to break down. They do not like shipping their tools back. They are there to sell tools. You can buy tools at the show. I would wait till day 3. That's all I'm going to say. There's some deals to be had. You can wheel and deal. You might end up with some good stuff. That's my pro tip. Those shipping costs, when they got to ship them back across the country, it gets expensive. But
if not, more nailers for Kyle.
I may have come up with a couple of things to give away last year, and I got a really good deal on a vacuum. So there's,
nice.
That's
a good point.
It's worth hanging out if you can drive and get there, and you're looking at like wanting to buy something that's a little pricier. It may be worth hanging out till day 3, waiting for them to break down. And if you see one still laying around, hey, what can we do on this? You really want to ship that back to wherever you came from? You might be able to get a deal. Now, getting to be able to drive in, that the union guys get real mad when you pull up with like, your little truck in the back alley and you're in the way of them being able to break down the show. But
yeah, you usually have to cross through the doors with it. They're not going to let you through the bay doors.
You can
unless you're Kyle.
No, I did it over at the convention center when I got that, but they were like, you have 5 minutes to like get in and get out of our way. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, we've only got a show to break down. Thanks for hogging the bay doors.
Yeah. So, okay. What are we going to do? Let's pause real quick and we'll, let me get a little sponsor love in here. It's time to make your plans to travel to Las Vegas with me to hit the show floor at the International Surfaces event. Our sponsor, Tice, has provided me an incredible offer for you listeners. You can now register for a free exhibits pass with the code Kyle, that's Kyle, for those of you who can't spell my name. Registration is... You're good, it's fine. That usually is the response from the guest. And it's, Michelle did a great job writing this up, I will be honest. She did a great job. It's funny. Registration is open online at www.intlsurfaceevent.com/register. It's all happening in Las Vegas the 31st of January through the 2nd of February, 2023. Plus, don't miss it. Well, you're listening to the special podcast episode this December, which will give you the inside scoop on what's happening at the event. I'm going to have to rewrite that for the next couple episodes.
No, it's kind of funny.
Okay. Homeowner tenure is at an 8-year low, with the average length of ownership being 6.31 years. During ongoing times of building material supply constraints, does a 25-year or lifetime warranty on your materials mean anything anymore? John's Manville Go Board offers a limited 10-year manufacturer warranty on all its products and a list of approved alternative products covered under their warranty. Don't hold up your project because you can't piece together a full system. Visit www.jm.com/GoBoard for more information. And we're back, Paul. Thank you. That's really funny. I like the dynamic in the show of like, I just read it and then if it, if that happens, that happens. It's very fun. So I appreciate the the laughter.
And that offer to use a special promo code Kyle is a very good offer, because that ticket is going to run you starting around $65 just for a ticket. So
it is.
You're saving money just like that right off the bat.
That you are, and I appreciate that you give my listeners that option by having partnered with the podcast. It's that $65, man. You can apply that to a special education seminar.
Yep.
We're gonna get into some special events that'll be happening later that you got to buy tickets to, but are worth it. So I put it aside. I lost my notes. We are at let's talk about, we're doing the Pulse seminars. So what are Pulse seminars, and then who's going to be at them?
Well, we've done an entire rehash of our program. The Pulse seminars are the ticketed breakout seminars. They were called Converge for the past 3 years. It's not TICE if we don't tinker with this every single year, but that's just what we do. So this year we've taken it another step back. There is a lot more thought going into our entire educational program, the entire thing from the Pulse seminars to the expo floor, and even trying to get into the hands of the exhibitors. So starting with the Pulse seminars, those are going to be 45-minute sessions in the breakouts. They are ticketed. They start at $65 per ticket. I say start at because I think if you're members of WFCA or the NTCA or NSI, I think they might have discounts on some of those if you're a member. All of a sudden, it's been a couple months since I've looked at the registration system, so I might be wrong on that. But the tickets start at $65. And what we're doing is, instead of having 3 or 5, or sometimes we used to have 8 different concurrent times, 8 concurrent sessions in a single time frame, which means 8 different meeting rooms are running with 8 different tracks. What we're trying to do is make it so that it's becoming a little bit more concise, and people aren't finding themselves in super small rooms and other people are blown out because it's wildly popular and I don't have enough seats in there. And what we are doing is taking a little bit of a step back, and we are going to have 1 breakout room per session for Monday, January 30th, Tuesday the 31st, Wednesday the 1st, and then we're going to go dark with the Pulse seminars on that final day. Each of the sessions in the Pulse seminars are going to be big picture, 30,000 foot view topics. So we are going to be looking at state of the industry. We're going to be looking at product categories, largely which are picking up steam, which are becoming less favorable, which ones are getting new technologies and enhancements. We're looking at sessions on design theory and practices, color, anything that has a really big scope and is attractive to any one of our segments, not just one very specific small group of people. And those are going to be those sessions that are going to, again, run from Monday the 30th through Wednesday, February 1st, the second day of the show. And then what we will be doing from the Pulse seminars is taking that big, broad picture stuff. We're going to go to the expo floor, which we'll talk about in a second. And then that will become a little bit more granular. So it will be more precise to the specific audience in each one of those expo floor theaters that we have. Okay. So we bring in really thoughtful, smart people. Chris Ramey, Stuart Hirshhorn, who is with Catalina Research. He's going to be doing all our state of the industry and our statistical product category research that he gets from Catalina Research, which is his company. We have sessions that are going to be examining contract clauses. That's going to be from Jeff King. He is a favored speaker. He is the advisor to WFCA, their legal advisor. We've got sessions from Michelle Winters, who's going to be doing sessions on systems and processes as well as management. So we kind of cross over. We go a little bit more into kind of more daily organizations and processes, but not just for a fabricator or for a floor covering retailer or for a tile shop. All of these are going to be useful to any one of those product groups, any one of those
Yes.
show groups. So we've got 16 sessions that are going to run from that Monday to Wednesday, and they will run approximately, if memory serves me right, from I think 8 to 2 o'clock. So that will still leave people time at the end of the day. If you wanted to go to every single Pulse seminar, you would still have it time at the end of the day to hit the show floor, probably right in time for all the happy hours at the exhibitors' booths.
Okay. So we've got our paid sessions, and they're going to give you a little bit wider view, and then we kind of work our way down, and we do have some slightly more specific stuff the second or third day. And then now we can go out onto the expo show floor, and you've got even more education.
Yeah. Then it gets even more enhanced. So we talked about those big 30,000 foot view topics, the big overarching themes that are coming for the floor covering industry as a whole. Then we take it down onto the expo floor, and we're going to have a stage on the surfaces floor, the stone expo floor, and the tile expo floor. Each one of those are being programmed by me, and we are going to go and do more granular topics, and I will attempt to make through lines from the Pulse seminars to the expo floors. So if we're talking about big design theories and things to expect in 2023 and 2024 and beyond, when we extrapolate that down onto the stone expo stage or the tile expo stage or surfaces, and we're talking about some of the new technology and the new styles coming in, we will point back to those topics that we discussed, or we might be going in reverse and flipping that. So these are going to be talking about what is going to be coming in the Pulse seminar if they're happening before that Pulse seminar hits. So we'll be kind of backwards engineering that. We'll take it from the big 30,000 foot view down to the 10,000 foot view. So it will be more applicable to that particular show segment. Some of the topics that we're going to be doing on the surfaces stage, the Resilient Floor Covering Institute is going to be coming out with some of their new technologies and new product enhancements hitting the market. We've got sessions that are going to be covering social media. We've got some topics that are going to be covering more general business practices, as well as leadership practices. It will be just a little bit more concise and a little bit more granular to that specific industry. Tile Expo is going to have an entire host of sessions being done by NTCA, both on the design side as well as the installation side, as well as topics that are going to be a little bit more useful maybe to a fabrication shop or to a tile company, especially installers, focusing on new adhesives and sealants, what type of saw to use and what cutting application, because, and I am not the best person to be asking about this, but you can't use this saw to cut glass, and this saw isn't allowed to be cutting stone. So you have to be very, very careful. You're going to blow everything up. So there is very niche topics going in over and above these sessions that we're doing in each one of our own theaters. NSI is also doing the Natural Stone Theater, and they are going to be doing a lot of sessions that are focusing specifically on natural stone and quarriers. What I'll be doing in the Stone Expo stage is probably a lot more on the equipment side. Tools and abrasives, cutting equipment, distributor related topics, and you'll get all your stone information coming from NSI, because that's all they're really wanting to focus on, is on that core natural stone and applications.
Okay. And anything on the show floor is free, folks. Well,
correct.
There are some paid events on the show floor, but they usually happen after hours. During hours, anything on the show floor should be free. Yeah. So you can stop by the stage and you can see the educational talk. But there's also, besides those stages, there are demos that go on at the different exhibitors. And then I know that usually There's one where they're doing like tile installation stuff. I think the NTCA is
Demo
usually
stage.
pretty involved where there's a demo stage going on with installation techniques. So there's a
Yep.
lot going on throughout the day to even keep track of. And this is really where you got to be looking ahead, right? When I'm telling you, like, you need to plan out your day, you got to plan out your day, right? Do I want to go see Kyle talk on the stage, or do I want to be over here? Do I want to go see this demo? What do I want to do? Where do I want to go? Who do I want to see? When do I want to see it? Because you don't want to find yourself on one side of the show trying to run to the other side when you got 15. Like, you just don't want to do it. It happens to where you need to, but like, if you can avoid it, it's great. And so the events that are happening during the day, I think, often get overlooked. And I can tell you, there are some really, really great talks you can go and get for free. You mentioned that Michelle Winters was going to be doing some Pulse seminars. I'm going to venture to guess that you probably will try and get her onto an expo floor stage. I could be wrong.
Of course. I've already tapped her for a couple, and I don't want to. I respect people's times. Yes, she's there and she's excited to speak, and I'm more than happy to have her on the Pulse seminars. But I also don't want to overtax you, like we kind of did with you last year in 2022 when you were doing 5 different sessions for us.
That was me. That wasn't you guys. That was me. I learned my lesson. But no, and I get it, and I appreciate that, right? But like, if you see a talk, right, friends of the show, right? Michelle Winters has been great. I'm gonna make a venture to say you probably tapped Shannon Vogel again for some social media stuff. Like, there's some great talkers that they really know their niche in the industry. And look, if you can go get their talk and you don't have to pay extra for it, I would be all over it. Maybe John Namba is going to do something. I'm going to make a guess to say, and if it's not for you guys directly, he's probably going to do something for a manufacturer. Go listen to John. That dude knows his stuff. He's no joke.
Yeah, there's a perception, and it's rightly earned, because if you go to some shows and they give you free education, it's usually very sponsor heavy, and it's literally plug the nose and they start shoveling it in, and you're going to take it all. These sessions really aren't in that vein, and if I do that, they usually make me call it out that it's a sponsored session by X company. The Pulse seminars are completely agnostic. The speakers there are not allowed to reference their services, their products, except for the very start when they can introduce themselves. Once they get into the content, that is absolutely verboten. And then once you get onto the expo floor, they too, some of them are sponsored, like the demo stage. A lot of those are sponsored, but they are incredibly instructive. I can't say that I've really experienced a very heavy product pitch from any of my speakers, whether they have bought their way in, especially on the demo stage, or if I've reached out and secured them myself directly. They are top-notch speakers. And very frequently you will see them often in a Pulse seminar. Kyle was in one of my seminars in the past. So it's just kind of how everything works out and how I need to build out my stages.
No, I think you guys do an excellent job with the education there. I want to highlight it. Like, it's literally free at the stage. Walk over to it. I don't think enough people stop to do it, and you are missing out on some really, really great content. And then it's these are top-notch people that you would pay to listen to, and you don't have to. They're there doing their thing, and so don't miss them. Find one or two to go check out, and you won't regret it. And there's usually a couple minutes afterwards, if you have a question or something, you can get somebody pulled aside and talk to them for a minute one-on-one, or get their card and reach out to them. And that's honestly, it's where a bunch of relations. That's how I met Shannon Vogel. That's why she came on the show. Is like we ran into each other and we started a relationship. Like, you were missing out by not attending those educational seminars. They're very good, and
and I also would be remiss if I didn't mention the Women's Leadership Conference, which is going to run a half day on Monday from 1 to 5, the pre-show day. And I've got 2 of the 3 sessions. I just need to build up my last panel, and that is going to include Shannon Vogel herself. Just got her locked in, and I have another speaker named Leslie Carruthers, who is going to be talking about the metaverse and NFTs, but it is actual useful. I was very sure to make sure I get someone who has experienced it, can reproduce it, and can explain it and help you do it just off of her. And smart lady. And what I really want to make sure again is that this type of topic is very, very, it's white hot, and a lot of it isn't very useful, but this is very tactile and very utilitarian, especially for how retailers or installers or fabricators can show their clients what their rooms look like. And it doesn't require major outlays of money for the goggles or big blown out rooms. It could be done very effectively right on a smartphone with very minimal equipment to have to get to use or reproduce this environment.
Awesome. So you mentioned the Women's Leadership Conference. You guys debuted that last year. It was very cool. Or earlier this year. Man, see, we're not quite in the future yet. We're talking future. But so there was we're going to talk about special events now. So there was a special event last year that happened afterwards. There was like a little gala, little evening event for all the ladies. Are you doing that again for them or no? Okay.
Yep. Following the Women's Leadership Conference, we are going to be redoing the Women's Leadership Reception. So that is a go. That is happening. I can't say exactly where. It's definitely going to be somewhere around Mandalay Bay, but I have not heard of where they have finally nailed that one down. That was a fun event, and probably again it's a nice way to cap off an exciting day, kind of a very uplifting and charging day. So that is going to be returning, and we're also going to have a first timers conference, first timers reception again.
Awesome. So that was fun last year,
which is valuable. There's nothing worse than being at a show or a conference and you know nobody. I think there's a little part that it has some benefits, but it's good to have these types of events because it can connect first timers with people who have been numerous times, plus your leadership and your thought leaders from the industries. And it just makes it a little bit easier. So if you're brand new and you're introduced to John Namba and Jim Heeb and Shannon Vogel, at least you've made those contacts. And now when you're out at the show, you'll probably keep seeing those people and they'll hopefully remember you. And it just helps break the ice and makes it a little bit easier. And you can also, as a first timer, get your questions answered about best practices. How do I go meet this person? Where's the best party? Anything you have like that.
No, you guys did a great job with that last year. It was a lot of fun. Thank you for having me as like a little ambassador to it. I'm very honored. Did you by chance give away a trip again at CFI convention to somebody?
We did. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's exciting. I know that Peter Blue had him and his wife had a blast last year, and I ended up chatting with them for a while, and they were like, it's overwhelming. I remember what it was like to go my first time, and I was just like, my jaw was dropped for 3 days because I couldn't believe what I was looking at, but I also didn't know anybody, and so I'm just wandering around and like, oh, can I go talk to them? I'm going to tell you what. Anybody that you recognize from like our online interactions or whatever, or like you know them from like reading a magazine article, just go up to them. Don't even hesitate. And honestly, if the person blows you off, well, you just learned a very valuable lesson about them, and it makes it easier, right? But no, seriously, Paul, like,
no, it's true.
If you're gonna have an ego about it, you're not good enough for me. Well, I'd rather know that about you now, and like let's move on, right? I don't have to like continue to admire you or build this thing up any more than it is. But I'm telling you, 99.5% of people there are going to give you the time of day. There's no egos. Everyone's just there doing their thing. And people that spend money to go to the show have a different mindset. They have an abundancy mindset. They have a growth mindset. They're not there worried about themselves. They're worried about the industry and where it's going and how they can help it move forward. And so these are the people you want to connect with. Go, stop, get to know people. Don't hesitate to go up to them. I know, even as like, I'm kind of introverted. I'm not the super, like, you would be amazed that like, oh, but he does the podcast and he gets on stage and he speaks. I'm not super extroverted. That is not my thing. You put me at Tice, I want to go in the corner. Like, it's too many people. It's overwhelming for me. So just walk up, man. I'm happy to talk to you. I know just about anybody is. Go get your question answered. Tell me what you thought was cool about the project you saw, or, hey, how'd you do that? Like, people are not going to care. We're there to make friends. Come hang out. You know, if there's a big group of people, go get in the middle of it. Go be seen and get involved. Don't hang off in the shadows and, oh man, I wish I could hang out. And like, I wonder if they'd invite me to go have a beer with, like, we're going to invite you to come out, man. That's what's going to happen.
And it's their job to say yes. If you get invited to a party, say yes. Yeah.
It'll be fun. And there's lots of parties.
I had my first experience like that. It's not too often that I end up at trade shows that aren't part of Informas. So I usually have an Informa family right there with me. But I had that experience 3 weeks ago. Went to an event outside the industry. I was a paid attendee on my own dime. Didn't even have my Informa expense account, would hurt. But on that side of things, it was different being on the other side, sitting at the table and not knowing a person. And I mean, I went in there knowing nobody, and it's daunting. Strike up a conversation, introduce yourself. Don't be too bashful as you're standing there sitting next to someone. Introduce yourself, tell them where you're from. Normally there's something that will spark a conversation. And if it goes off, great. And if it doesn't, no problem. The other place is if you're standing in line at a bar or at an exhibitor's booth and you're in a line for coffee, talk with the people around you. Just say hello. This is, like you said, this is a very nice group of people. And I hope our attendees were as welcoming as the group that I was at a few weeks ago. I hope that they're that nice and easy to have a conversation with.
You never know who you're going to meet at these shows, right? Like I said, I think the mindset is this is a show for retailers. We've got installers going, we've got retailers going, we've got manufacturers going, we've got stone people, tile people, hardwood people, laminate people, vinyl people. Like, there are so many different, you've got people coming in that do social media. Like, there are so many people coming. You don't know who you're standing next to. And that thing you've been struggling with, you may meet the person that can solve that problem for you just by having a conversation. Or you might meet them and they say, you know what? I know this person and I can get you connected. Like, you don't know who knows who. And so just go meet people and build your network, and it's going to be worth the investment. If you can't find a way to turn the investment of what it would cost you to go to a Surfaces, I don't know what to tell you. Listen to the podcast more, and we'll dig into like how to turn investments around. But like, there's no reason that let's say you lose $5,000 for not working for the week, and it costs you a couple grand to go. Look, if you can find a new product to move, and you can find you go to a talk and you get some education on some social media stuff, and then you meet. Maybe you meet somebody that's in your town and you didn't even know they were there, and you can build a partnership and you're able to bring them on like a project to help you get through it. Like, you can earn that $7,000 back and multiply it very, very quickly. Like, it's not a big deal, let alone it's kind of it's a workcation. Get away, stop for a minute. It's okay. It's not going to burn down. And schedule it. You have to put it on your calendar. I think that's the other big thing I've learned is a lot of people are like, I'm going to go. You want to know how long Surfaces has been on my calendar, folks? They had the dates when I was there in January. It's been on my calendar since February 2nd, 1st, 2nd, I don't know, whenever it ended, right? Like it went in my phone. It's booked out. It's blocked out. I cannot schedule an install on those days. It's not happening. I know that that's where I want to be because I'm committed to what I gain out of the show. And it's a lot. Make sure you schedule it and then don't schedule over it. Like you have to put it in the calendar and commit. And that's a lot of it. It's like writing goals, right? You have to actually write the goal down and put it where you can see it every day. Otherwise, you won't accomplish it. So, Paul, all that said, you got a lot going on. You got a lot cooking over there, and you're down to like 2 months. You gonna get it done, buddy?
Yes, it always gets done. Somehow the trade show elves come in at the last minute and fix anything that we have not completely tied down. But yeah, it will happen. I was just walking through my neighborhood and a neighbor has put up their Christmas decorations, and one of them is a countdown clock to Christmas, which is 48 days.
Okay.
So 48 days to Christmas, and about, at that point, maybe another 30 days before we got Tice. So yeah, there's just a little over 2 months.
Well, yeah, I
got to go now. See you later.
Is there anything we didn't hit on that we should have hit on?
Boy, we have talked through so much on this.
We did.
I think we have hit everything I could kind of think of. We hit all our stages, seminars, exhibits.
Yep.
All we need is
we need
you
you
to sign up. Yeah.
Go.
It's all up to you.
You get 3 plugs this show. You got one at the beginning, one in the middle. You get one now. Go to the website. Go register. It's going to ask for the promo code. Put my name in, KYLE, and you're going to get a free exhibits pass. So now you can afford to go to a Pulse seminar. You can maybe go sign up to be the first time event, or if you want to go hang out with the women. The women I got to crash that party last year, so the women were having a great time. I'm not gonna lie, I was very intimidated being in that room. They are they're wonderful, but there are some powerful women in that room. They are
absolutely, and just because it's Women's Leadership Conference does not exclude men. As we like to say, our male allies are more than welcome to attend and are invited.
Yeah, they're a great group. So, go sign up for the stuff. Check out what they got going on. It's going to continue to grow. Not everything is officially booked yet. Things are still being added. And so there are educational seminars that aren't even in existence yet. And we'll continue to check out the website and stay up to date. Go get your ticket. Put it on the calendar now so you actually go. Don't tell me you're going to go and then don't show up. And, stay healthy. So awesome. Thank you, Paul. I appreciate you coming on and talking about all of that. Thank you to the listeners. Thank you to the sponsors. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, head over to flooracademypod.com. Click on your favorite listening app. Go there, click subscribe, leave a review. You can check out the shop. You can get a Profit is Not a Dirty Word hoodie or t-shirt. We've got the classic design. Look, speaking of going to the show, look, I got a fanny pack. Go buy the fanny pack and you can keep a bottle of water in there, your money. It'll be great because I carry around a backpack with my camera in it all day. It gets heavy. So, maybe I need to add a fanny pack to that too, and I'll just carry even more stuff. What else? You can help sponsor the show over at patreon.com/Floor Academy. Even $5 a month goes a long way in helping the content to continue to be published. Otherwise, remember to learn while you earn, and we will catch you next week. Thanks, everybody.